Is what is a reasonable accounting business owner's salary? It's like how much can you make? Whether you have an accounting firm or bookkeeping business, I want to kind of give you some metrics you can use to know, are you paying yourself too much? Are you paying yourself too little? Because that's really a thing I hear a lot of people struggle with. Like they're making money, top line revenue, but they're like, how much should I be paying myself? Like how much profit margin should I really be having? And like what's going to be affecting my salary and how to really increase my take home income. So you're going to want to stick around because I'm also going to be sharing a simple framework to determine your ideal salary as your business is growing by the end of this video. Now, again, most people just don't really know what to charge or what to really not only what to charge, but really what to pay themselves. And it can lead to them either leaving too much cash in the business or too little cash in the business. And if something kind of tweaks, changes, or happens, they're out of position. Like maybe they pay themselves so much that they didn't save anything for taxes. Maybe they've, taken everything out of the business bank account and something happens to a payment processor and now you have to kind of like scrounge around for cash, right? So it just kind of depends. Now, number one, factors that increase your salary, right? Number one is going to be your business revenue. So the more your firm makes, the more flexibility you have, and the more choice you have about like how much you should be paying yourself. Next thing is profit margin. So your salary also depends on um, how efficiently your firm is operating, right? So expenses and overhead are also another thing that can be factored in, right? So if you have like rent for like an office, if you have like software, if you have like employees and other like costs can impact your take home pay. So for example, a solo accounting firm making 150,000 per year with about 40,000 expenses could pay anywhere between like 80,000 to about $100,000 to their owner. Oh, tired at 9 a.m. in the morning, man. I gotta fix this sleep stuff. Now, next, average salaries for accounting firm owners. So, example, for a small firm, like a solo earner, really under about 150,000 in revenue, you should be expecting between 60 to about 100,000. Now, the key things here is that I always like to keep my business as profitable as possible, right? Right when you get to about 11,000, $12,000 per month, that's when you kind of have a choice. Do you want to keep your business basically the same, or do you want to start bringing on like different expenses? For example, like bring on like your first like staff account or virtual assistant. Now, of course, if you start doing that, you are going to have new expenses, so your profit margin is going to go down. But right around there, like right around like 150,000 per year, you can still be extremely profitable and just be like you're the only person doing the work inside the business. Now, will everyone like doing that? Not necessarily, but should you be doing that? In my opinion, I do kind of like that. But it also depends on like your life goals. If you're trying to maximize how much money you make, okay, well then you might want to like, stay smaller and more profitable for a little bit longer. If you're trying to grow your business as large, which you can, okay, well you're going to have to kind of pivot towards, bringing people on to help you out, right? Because that's gonna, increase how much you can actually bring on. If your goal is just to like, make six figures a year, but then also have a bunch of free time, not really have to do a lot of the work yourself, okay, well then you're going to bring someone on, sooner rather than later, right? Next thing is going to be mid-sized firms. So anywhere between about 150,000 to about 500,000 in revenue, right? You're basically going to be taking home between about 100,000 to about 250,000. It also depends on what services you're going to be offering, right? So let's say that you're doing about 250 a year, but you're doing mostly tax planning, right? And let's say that each of your tax plan sells for about, $5,000. So let's do this. 250 divided by $5,000. You're taking on about 50 tax plans divided by 12. What is that? It's about four and a half per month. Yeah, about 4.1 per month. You can do that on your own without having any kind of like contractors or employees. Just kind of be aware of that. There's different types of services that are going to have different levels of involvement that's going to cause you either to be able to do it more effectively on your own or just make things work a little bit differently, right? So it really will depend on your services, and we'll talk about which services are going to be easiest in a couple minutes. Next thing for like larger firms, so let's say just anything over about 500,000, right? Really just having like multiple employees, generally going to be doing above about 250 per year take home. Now, again, this is all going to depend on like your service mix as well, but this is just in general what I've seen. Now, cool. Next thing is going to be like how to really structure your salary, right? So baseline salary versus profit distributions, right? So it really depends like what you're going to be what your business is whether it's an LLC, an S corp, or C corp, right? So generally for an S corp, you're gonna want to pay yourself a reasonable salary first, and like it just the debate about an S corp versus LLC, I'd really kind of consult a tax person for your specific situation because you can have like pretty significant differences when it comes to tax savings every single year, right? Now some people what they'll do is like they'll take additional income above like what they're paying themselves for the S corp as additional like income distributions to basically reduce your self-employment taxes. Now, next thing is percentage of revenue method. So many owners will just choose to take like 30 to 50% of the revenue as a salary, depending on the profitability of the firm. Now, for me, I don't like doing that. I like to take as much as I possibly can as profit. And like this is actually a very important decision that you're gonna have to make when you're growing your business, right? There are a couple different types of businesses, right? There is a cash flow slash lifestyle business or a performance business. Now, cash flow slash lifestyle is like you're basically taking as much cash out of your business as possible to, really fuel your life and like fuel what you want to do, whether that's taking vacations, whether that's spending time with your family, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, for most people watching this video, right, that's going to be how you're going to structure your business, where it's like you're not necessarily trying to like start the next Facebook. Some people will be if they're watching this video, but most people who watch this video, I've just kind of known from my audience is that like they really just want to get to like 150K, 200K per year top line, right? So they can make a really good income and just like as much as possible, just go straight to the bottom line, right? And the reason why is so you can be able to live a better quality of life, right? That's kind of how I like to structure my stuff. Now, if you want to do performance business is more focused on revenue growth and enterprise value, right? Generally, the profit margin is going to be a little bit lower, but they're either looking to sell the business or they're looking to have so many contracted employees that the business starts growing, by itself. Now, it just kind of depends where you are in life, right? If you are more stable, or maybe you if you're either more stable or you're just running your business for fun as like another thing to just kind of like stretch yourself and see how far can you go, how much can you make, et cetera, then having a performance style business might be a really good like, one for you to do. But if you're trying to build financial freedom, if you're trying to build wealth, and if you need the money to kind of like move you towards retirement or just move you in general, then probably doing a cash flow slash lifestyle of business is going to be a little bit better for you. So it's going to be less contractors, less employees, but the profit margin will be drastically higher. Now there's a good balance, right? You could keep the business at about 200K per year, 240 maybe, and then just have like one to two staff accounts. So you're not necessarily doing the work yourself, but you're also making the profit margin. So you get the time freedom as well as the financial freedom as well. Cool. Next thing, so how to start increasing your salary over time. So number one, you could be raising your prices, right? So let's say you have some existing clients and you just want to raise the price. That's way number one. Okay, very simple, very easy. Now, if you don't know how to raise prices on your existing clients, inside of our mentorship program, we do teach you strategies on how to do that, right? So we had one of our students. Basically, she was charging this guy, I think like $1,000 a month. She really should have been charging about 4,000 a month. So first we gave her pricing calculator so she knew exactly what she should be charging. And then we had to basically do a call where we said, okay, so these are like the logical reasons that you need to be able to explain to this person in order for them to understand why the price should be, basically 4x. Next thing, you can start adding high ticket services that they're not basically labor focused. They're more either package price or they're more skill slash thought related kind of services. So tax planning, CFO services, advisory, business consulting, business coaching, right? So I opted to do business coaching, right? Because my partner didn't really want to do like tax planning when we were first starting the business. So I opted to do small business coaching, but I basically do more of like it's more coaching for accountants and bookkeepers in the form of like a mentorship program. But, you kind of have a choice, right? Because once you start shifting and start adding in like more of the package-based services, it gives you a little bit more freedom in terms of your income because like it's extremely high profit margin type service, right? Because there's not that much expenses depending how you're doing it. If you're spending a lot in ads and you're like scaling, your profit margin could be like a lot lower. Plus, if you have like a lot of like contractors underneath you that are helping you get new clients, it can be expensive. But if you just do it where it's just like very simple marketing, you keep it at a small number of people per month, then you're charging. You don't have to really charge a super high price. Like there are people that are charging for their coaching programs like 12K, 8K, 9K, right? And they do it to beginners. Like ours is a little bit less. It's kind of like more like middle pricing, but it allows me to be able to have number one, enough like freedom to like just really do whatever I want to do in life in most cases. And then at the same time, it's not so like mentally draining or like demanding that number one, I have to bring on new staff accountants to do the work. Next thing you can do to start increasing your income is you can start outsourcing and automating. So automating is generally going to be a little bit easier in terms of building your profit margins because you don't necessarily need to have like staff members do it and you don't necessarily need to use your time to do it. So there's a lot of different types of automation. You can automate your content creation. You can automate your advertising. You can automate your sales calls. You can automate your outreach on social media, right? And that's going to cause you to save a lot of money. I like to automate my content first. Now that it really depends when you say automate content. Like you can automate creating your scripts, you can automate creating like your social media posts using like different things like ChatGPT. And what it does, it speeds up the process of you actually like doing this stuff. So it's just faster and easier, both short term and long term for you to do. Um, yeah. Cool. And I'll give you an example. So like a bookkeeping firm that adds tax planning, again, could add an additional, we'll say about 250,000 per year with 50 people. Now let's say 50 times, we'll say you're going to meet with them four times. It's about 200, we'll say minutes divided by 60, sorry, 200 meetings times about, we'll say 60 minutes per meeting, 12,000 divided by. They're basically gonna have an extra about 200 meetings per year, which I know that sounds a lot, but it's really like not that many, right? Because you're basically gonna do once per quarter meeting with your clients, basically talk about the plan and making sure they're staying up to date with the plan. Cool. So for some people, it's a lot of time. For others, it's like nothing. Like what is that? That's 200 divided by 52. That's like 3.8 meetings a week. That's like less than 4 hours worth of work a week to add additional $250,000 to your firm per year. So just kind of depends. Now, if you want some help increasing your salary or increasing your income inside of your business, but maybe you don't know how to raise your prices, maybe you don't know when you should automate, or you don't know who your first hire should be or how much you should pay that person. Maybe you're still stuck on marketing and you're just like, if I could figure this business model out, I know that I could have the freedom that I want and I can be able to go and like grow to whatever my goal is. If that's what you want, if that's what you want help with, go ahead and click the link inside the description above or below the video to book a call with myself to see if I can help you inside of our mentorship program. Okay? I will talk to you soon. Have a good rest of your day and take it easy.